Phillies are moving on. This is Phillies Postgame Live, presented by our friends at Cure Auto Insurance. 7-1 Phillies, a total of 11-2 score over the Miami Marlins as the Phils move on to the NLDS. This was, as we welcome Ricky Bottalico, Ben Davis, Ruben Amaro Jr., Tom McCarthy, John Clark, coming up from Citizens Bank Park. This was a statement game and a statement series for the Philadelphia Phillies. Now everybody's saying, yeah, this team was built so they can move on to the World Series yet again. Sure it was, but some people had some questions about it. We did not. If you watch the Phillies all season long, you know that this team was set to get back to the World Series, and we'll see what happens against the Atlanta Braves. Overview, Ricky Bo, and Ben and Ruben.
Let's just start for all the naysayers about Aaron Nola. Take that. I mean, that was pretty impressive going out there, giving seven innings, only give up 3 hits. I thought it was impressive that he kept the ball on the ground. He got a lot of ground ball outs. That, to me, is what you want to do if you're a guy like Aaron Nola. Only had 3 strikeouts in the game. We had the breakdown earlier, and that's one of the things you talk about. You don't want to see the counts start going from 0-2 to 3-2. He didn't do that tonight. That was really good, Aaron Nola, that we saw tonight. I was very impressed. And, I mean, bottom line is, bring on the Braves.
Bring on the
Braves.
Bring on the Braves.
The bottom feeders are back.
11 more wins and they're World Series champions. It's just when you put it in that kind of context, it makes you think, wow, it doesn't seem that hard. It is going to be hard. It's going to be very hard. But the bottom line is that's what they need to do. They need 11 more wins. Tonight was a great start. It looked like the Marlins wanted no part of Aaron Nola and the Philadelphia Phillies tonight. Huge knock by JT, obviously, to get them on the board. That big home run, that was incredible. And then, obviously, Schwarber with a big knock and the biggest blast of all, Bryson Stott. Wow, it was just obviously, again, electric over there. What a place to be.
Ruben?
What I love about this team is that you get contributions from every single person on the club, whether it's the starting pitcher, the relievers, anybody up and down the lineup. Each one of those guys, there's danger there, and they do not give up at bats. They battle. They can steal bases. They play defense. They can do so many different things, and they're getting contribution from a different person. Harper didn't really do all that much except work some good counts and got a couple of big walks, but when your big boys aren't doing stuff, you know that you have others that can pick them up. And JT Realmuto, I'm loving the way he's swinging the bat right now. He struggled quite a bit during the course of the year of getting that foot down and getting his timing. But at the end of the year, for the last maybe 2 weeks towards the end of the year, he started utilizing the middle of the plate, the middle of the diamond, and he's really swinging the bat incredibly well right now.
And I almost feel like this was supposed to happen. I really do. I feel like the Phillies were a much better team than the Marlins were. And, I mean, when you look around baseball right now, they're all sweeps. All 4 of those series went ugly for everybody, and it turned to, except for the Phillies, except for the guys that won, I guess.
Fireworks over CBP.
But this is what I think this is what I've been looking for. I think we're a little subdued right now for the sole fact that we know what's coming up. And we knew it was a collision course. And I truly believe whoever wins this series coming up will be World Series champions.
And it is a tall order, Ricky Bo, as the sign says, Atlanta, here we come. And Saturday it starts the National League Division Series. Phillies visiting the Atlanta Braves, best of 5. How about Bryson Stott with a grand slam right after a pitching change? Who called that up in the press box?
I did.
Oh,
that was a busy Izzy Isnom.
Ricky Bo turned to John Clark and said,
he's going to hit one in right center field seats.
And that's what happened. The other thing is, let's face it, we can blow off Braxton Garrett and what he did. Braxton Garrett was unsolvable for about 3 innings, and it looked like there would be twin no-hitters for a time. There were no hits on the board. And then all of a sudden, little double down the right field line.
Started with a leadoff walk.
Started with a leadoff walk. You're right, Christian Pache.
And then Schwarber knocked one down the line, and then Turner hits one off the backside of Garrett, and then it just kind of unraveled after that.
And I thought that was so important because here's a young pitcher who had his way with the Phillies. Not big time, but he had managed to get some wins against the Phils. This was his first postseason, and he was pitching like a veteran. And the Phillies got a run however they could. They manufactured it. and that's what led the way to the win.
Think about this for a second. Christian Pache was not even on the roster for a lot of the year. I mean, this is a guy that they picked up off of waivers, basically, and they got him from the Oakland A's because the Oakland A's kind of threw him away. They didn't think he could hit. They didn't think he could do it. Well, you know what he can do? He can play great defense. He runs the bases well. And they did a lot of work with them to get to him to the point where he's a viable part of this ball club. And he's started both the games in this series. I mean, let's think about that. That's not Harper or Schwarber or any of those guys. That's a small piece, but it ended up being a big piece because every piece counts.
Also, there were some who said, why wouldn't you put Brandon Marsh in there? He can hit left-handed hitting. Rob Thompson elected to sit Marsh. He did pinch hit.
Let Topper do what he's doing. I mean, I'm perfect. I am perfectly comfortable considering the batters that you have 1 through 7 in this lineup. I'm confident at whoever goes in. I think Rojas is a mainstay now in center field, but whoever is in that 9 spot or 8 spot, if it's Marsh that comes in there, I don't have a problem with anybody being in there right now because I think Topper has a really good feel of what he wants to do down there, and he has a feel for who's going to get things going. If it's just against lefties that he's not doing it, so be it. I will say this much for this game. I thought John Birdie probably had the play of the game for the Marlins because that was the dumbest thing I've seen in a long, long time. Getting picked off a second base or even trying to steal in that situation with 1 out. You're scoring on a base hit. I'm not really sure what he was thinking there, but Nola picks him off, and that was pretty much the only threat the Marlins put up.
I never thought there was a threat. I thought the Phillies had this even when there was no score. And as Ruben and Ben, you mentioned with regard to the Pache leadoff walk, and then Schwarber with a double to score him, and then another hit scored Schwarber, for goodness sakes. He's got some wheels, Schwarber. I'll tell you what.
Bit of redirection.
Let's not sell him short.
How about these fans? I know we keep going back to it, but 45,738 fans. They're all still there.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
the team is out on the field. It's kind of like a Broadway show they're watching right now.
Well, we talked about that pregame. This is part ball game, part party, part concert. Emphasis on the party, because when you come in, the winning is what really drives the emotions of this fan base.
You know what they're doing? Locker up!
They're lockering up. Well, they've been doing that throughout the game. And, in fact, I just saw a couple of bar cans
that was a free one,
in the stands out there having a good time on the show. They are moving on to the division series, and that is awesome. 4 teams remaining in the National League, and your Philadelphia Phillies are one of them. You just heard Ricky Bo say the winner of the NLDS between the Phils and the Braves goes on to win the World Series. I don't think you'd find an argument from anybody watching this right now. But, Ben, Ruben, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I really do like their chances if they do get by the Braves to go move on to the World Series and win it. I just think this team is so poised. It's a shame we had to wait 162 games to get to this point because this is so stinking fun. But I agree. I think if they continue to play in this fashion, continue to have the same belief, and listen, it's not going to go anywhere. These guys believe in each other so much they believe in themselves. Yeah, this is a great ball club. They're fun to watch. They rally around each other. They believe they are getting to the promised land, and this year they will win it. That was their motto throughout the whole season. 2 more wins. You might see it this year.
I'd like to talk a little bit about Topper and how he's gone about it. I mean, this is a guy, and Ricky alluded to it. I mean, he's made different moves that don't seem all that popular. I will tell you that this is one of the steadiest guys I've been around. You know, Charlie Manuel is extremely steady. You watch him in the dugout, no reaction. It's almost like they're poker-faced. This guy has a great baseball mind. He understands players. He's put people in the right positions to have success. That is what an elite manager does. He has done it for the last, 2 years, year and a half, whatever you want to call it. He's been spectacular, and I got to give him some love, man, because he is helping to make these guys believe in what they can do. and he's a really big part of it as well.
And you know so well, Ruben, that as the saying goes, it all starts at the top. And at the top of this franchise is John Middleton, the general partner of the Philadelphia Phillies. And he said several seasons ago, several off seasons ago, you know what, we're going to get ready to spend stupid money. And a lot of people, the critics in particular, thought he's just setting himself up to get taken in free agency. Guess what? He did not get taken. He signed a guy by the name of Bryce Harper, who might be the best athlete to come through this town. He only got Zach Wheeler in here and his teammates, and he's out there shaking hands, and he is, as a Philly kid, he is as ecstatic as anybody, obviously.
You think Wheeler went by there and said, hey, how about an extension?
How about an extension? What do you think Nola did? Sorry.
Wow.
Well, hey.
Rally killer.
Not rally killer. Aaron Nola. I was asked, I was out in the seats tonight, and I was asked several times, what happens to Nola? I said, I don't know. He had the opportunity to get things done. Preseason did not happen. Look what he does tonight. We talked in the pregame about whether or not he's postseason Aaron Nola, and it's a different deal. It looks like he has crossed that line, starting with the clincher against Pittsburgh. Wouldn't you agree? He's a different pitcher now.
He's a different pitcher. He's uber reliable. And you know he's going to take the ball every fifth day. He's been as dependable a pitcher as we've seen in the last 6 seasons in Major League Baseball. That shows a lot. And trying to eat up those innings, you can basically put him down for 6 innings every time he goes out there. He put 7 out there tonight and obviously put his team in the best chance to win. Yeah, they have some tough decisions when it comes to starting pitching for next year. They obviously have Wheeler for another year, and we can get into that at some other time. But that makes you scratch your head about Aaron Nola, because you look at that performance tonight, look at the last couple times throughout the clincher against Pittsburgh. He has righted the ship and been very dependable.
And for all the people that are doubters, because there have been Aaron Nola doubters, I'm going to tell you this much. If the Phillies do win the World Series this year, it will be because of your number 1 and 2 starters. It will be because of Wheeler. It will be because of Nola. Why do you think they won these last 2 games? It was those 2 guys that went out there and pitched, and they pitched their butts off, and both of them pitched well. I understand, yeah, you tacked on some runs in this game, but it was Aaron Nola out there throwing up goose egg after goose egg, and that, to me, is special in the playoffs. And these 2, they actually do have a 1-2 punch in the playoffs. Right now, you look at the Braves. Okay, you have Spencer Strider. Do you have a Max Fried? I don't know. How's that blister doing? Mm-hmm. Nobody knows. So, I mean, in my eyes right now, I kind of see what has happened throughout the season, why he didn't pitch certain guys at certain times, why we felt kind of in blank spaces at times, because guys were getting 8-9 days off in between starts. I see what they saw in last year's playoffs with the Atlanta Braves, with the Cardinals, and with the Padres. If you remember, the Padres only had 2 pitchers. If you see what happened, yeah, I guess this is why the blueprint was to get these guys here healthy and to get these guys here at 100%. And I think these last 2 games proved a lot.
In a few moments, we go to the clubhouse, and we will hear from Rob Thompson, Aaron Nola, Bryce Harper, and a guy who opened up the scoring in the 4th inning. The Phillies were clinging to a meager 2-0 lead. JT Realmuto leads it off. Kapow! Home run. Phillies up 3-0, and then they get the grand slam, and we know the rest. Here's John Clark on the field with JT Realmuto.
All right, we're here with JT Realmuto, and first of all, the job that Aaron Nola and Zach Wheeler did back-to-back in these 2 games.
Seems familiar, doesn't it? I mean, couldn't ask for more out of those 2 guys. It's exactly what they did for us last year. They come in, they set the tone for our entire team. Hopefully we can go on a pretty special run like we did last year off of their momentum they gave us.
I asked you last night how early you knew Zach Wheeler was on. How about tonight with Aaron Nola?
Right away, same thing in the bullpen. I mean, he was just spotting up every pitch he threw. Flandy, the bullpen catcher, when I hopped in, he said he's got his good stuff tonight. So I knew pretty early on he was going to be pretty special.
It's interesting, David Robertson last year won a game for you in the wild card round in St. Louis. You hit a home run off him. Is there familiarity there?
I'm not going to lie, there is, but he blew me away with the first fastball he threw because he was throwing a little harder than I'm used to seeing from him. But D-Rob's an incredible pitcher. He just left. I got a good fastball to hit late in the count, put a good swing on it.
How unbelievable for Bryson Stott, and what was he ready for in that situation, first pitch?
Clearly ready for a fastball. I mean, what a swing that was. That was incredible. He stepped up in huge moments for us all year long, and none of them were bigger than that one. I mean, against an extremely tough lefty like that, most people don't realize how hard that is to do what he pulled off tonight.
How about Citizens Bank Park tonight, celebrating, clinching, going back to the NLDS here? You told me you got chills last night.
They bring the noise, man. I mean, these fans here are incredible. I get chills every time I walk up the steps before a home game here, especially in the playoffs. You just feel the energy from the first step you take on the field, and they didn't let us down this series.
Final question for you: rematch with the Braves. How special?
That's what you're looking for. I mean, we want to compete with the best. To get a World Series, we're going to have to beat the best, and the Braves were the best team in the regular season. So obviously they have a phenomenal team, and we're looking forward to the challenge.
Thank you so much. Enjoy it in that clubhouse. Thanks, JT. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John Clark. With JT Real Muto to the clubhouse we go, and we watch Rob Thompson talk to his guys that outscored the Miami Marlins 11-1 in this wild card series. This was so special what they did, and Thompson is a man of few words. We've heard him all season long, last season as well, and he's toasting his guys, and they're ready to go, pop the champagne, and we watched this happen. How many times last year, guys? 4 times they got those champagne bottles ready, and Rob Thompson came out and in an understated way told them how great they were, how resilient they were, how much they meant to each other and to this city, and he means that. And he talked about Aaron Nola before this start about 1 week ago. There they go, as the champagne corks are off. Ricky Bo, call it from here. No, when you look at what Thompson is about and what he said of his team, and he talked about Nola, how he trusts him with his life. That's how confident he is in Aaron Nola. And let's face it, Aaron Nola had a tough season, or let me put it another way, it was an un-Nola-like season. Last season he was 4th in the Cy Young runner-up. Season before he struggled. Season before that he was in the Cy Young balloting as well. So it's kind of been feast or famine to a certain degree with Aaron Nola, and he did not have an electric season this season, but yet when they got close to the playoffs, when they got close to clinching, he was the guy on the mound, and he was the man for the job, and he did the same thing tonight, didn't he?
Yeah, he sure did. And I think that's what Topper does. Topper believes in his players. And even if he doesn't believe in his players, he believes in his players, and he also makes them believe in themselves. And you know how you do that? You do it by actions. You show them that you want to put them in positions to have success. He believed in Nola. He believes in Kerkering. He believes in all the young people. A guy like Jeff Hoffman, who got more and more opportunities in huge moments. Pache and Rojas, young players. Stott gets a couple of starts against left-handers because he knows that if he shows confidence in them, they will show confidence, and they will respond to that, and that's exactly what's happened.
You know what else? Brandon Marsh is in that shot we just saw. Brandon Marsh got 1 at-bat these last 2 games. A guy who's been playing for the most part the entire season, sat for the most part in this series. You see the smile on his face? All they care about is winning. That's it. Doesn't matter who gets what at bat.
You get this close to a ring, that's all you should care about is winning. And this team kind of just pulls together, and they have a belief in everybody. And the one thing that I will give this team credit for, because this did not happen when I came up to the big leagues, is that when you walk into that clubhouse, they know you're there to help them. They know that you're not a threat, you're not this, that. I came up to the big leagues and I felt like I was a threat to everybody in that bullpen. And that's not the way you want to come up, not the way you want to feel, but that's just the way it was back then. Nowadays, everybody just kind of, it's like a group hug. You come in, you get a group hug.
Welcome. They welcome you.
Yeah.
I felt like an outsider. When I got caught up, I felt like an outsider.
Yes, exactly.
You know, just like, okay, just sit there, be quiet, and don't say anything. Keep your ears open and your mouth shut. And it's not like that anymore. You're all, you're there for the common good, the greater good, and that's to get a ring.
I mean, you look at Orion Kerkering. He just got there, and it's like he's a huge part of this ball club.
Mm-hmm. A huge part of this ball club, and he's got his beers going and his champagne going. And by the way, who's at the center of the whole thing?
Patchy.
No, Garrett Stubbs is at the center of the whole thing. This guy's going to be a party planner when he
Actually,
retires.
I saw Casty. Oh, there he is.
He got new coveralls.
There's Garrett Stubbs. He's got the coveralls.
He's got new ones.
runs. All he needs now is a snorkel.
He's definitely the show's social director.
Yeah, he is the social director. And when you look at a guy like that who is part of the heartbeat of this team, he's part of the personality of this team in no small way. And he hits home runs, and he contributes to the success on the field, as they all do. But Pache is what Ricky said earlier. You just leave Rob Thompson alone and let him do his thing. What did I ask? I asked the question at the outset of this series. What about flip-flop and Real Muto and Bohm? Does Real Muto give Bryce Harper enough protection? Now, Harper didn't actually hit his best in this series, but Bohm hit some home runs, and Real Muto hit some home runs. Bohm was on base constantly, scoring runs, right?
Yeah, he pulled all the right punches. And, it goes back to, you have this payroll in spring training. You're thinking, okay, they signed all these guys. And then you say, Ben, do you think that Christian Pache will be your starting left fielder in game 1 of the wild card series and Johan Rojas is going to be the center fielder? I would have been like, yeah, what are you smoking?
Let me have you tested.
What kind?
Johan Rojas.
Yeah, seriously. And I'll be like, there's no way that's going to ever happen. And yet here we are moving on to the NLDS. That's just, it shows you what the game of baseball can do. You just never know with this game. It is so unpredictable. But yet here we are, and, we gotta see what happens against these Braves. It's going to be fun.
Yeah.